Okay. I'm like still trying to figure out YouTube, how their lives work. There's always, like, I've researched a couple different tips, so now people are going to be like, oh my gosh, what happened to you? So, something about like you have to wait a few seconds once you start a live stream before speaking so that there's no audio kickback. And I felt like I did it fine last week, but this week just like totally failed. So hopefully people find it. If you don't, I know I had a couple people that were in here and I exited out so I could restart it. Hopefully this one does not do that. Hopefully. Otherwise, I just am like a slow learner on the YouTube front. But anyways, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Alex from Growing Goodings. That's me. And I am here for my Friday live chat. Every Friday, I like to come on YouTube and have a chat, a dialogue, as if you'd be sitting across the table from me as friends and discussing a topic. So that is what kind of started on Instagram, and I'm trying to pull over here because it's a lot easier here on YouTube to find the exact spot that you've left off if you're listening and you want to come back to something. So that's why we're here. So today's topic is on 30 days to habit. And if you are new around here, I started doing this thing called 30 days to make a habit after I lost our twins, Theo and Nora. And those 30 days I did getting dressed, because in grief, it can be really hard to get dressed and want to actually get out of bed and do something. So I challenged myself to get dressed every single day for 30 days. And I held myself accountable by sharing on Instagram. And I did that, and now it's been almost 2 years and I still get dressed every single day. There have only been a few days here and there, postpartum having Claire and then post losing Grace, that I haven't gotten dressed. The second one that I did was sometime last year, and it was making my bed, because Matt was reading a book, how it's like making your bed every day or something, and he was like, we should really do that. We should really make our bed every day. So I took that on, and now I make my bed every day. Come all the way around to January of 2023, and I decided to walk every day for 30 days, and I did that, and so far I've only missed a day since then. From January, I missed one day. It was on Wednesday this week. Woke up late, didn't have time during like lunch, nap time, school time, and then we had church in the evening, so it just didn't happen, and that's okay too. Habits don't mean perfection. They just mean that you've ingrained it enough into like an intrinsic value to get it done. So then February rolled around, and I created a new goal for February for my 30 days to habit, and that is reading a book. So not just one book, and not just a book on a Kindle or something like that. It has to be a paper book, 10 pages, and it has to be nonfiction. I personally am not a fan of like fiction and fantasy books. It's just not my thing. I don't find value in it. If that's you, nothing against you. I just don't fall in that category. So mine is 10 pages of a nonfiction book that is a paper book in your hand. There's something about holding a paper book and then finishing it and putting it up on your shelf and being like, I read that book. So I started that 4 days ago. Today's day 4. And the reason why I went with books, because I feel like, even though yes, I am on social media, I'm on Instagram, I'm on YouTube, sometimes even when I'm nursing, I've just scrolled enough where there's really nothing for me to be doing that's benefiting me. So I decided a book reading would be a really great way to kind of break that up. And I think that when we put more time into reading, we kind of become better speakers and we're better listeners at the same time. So I think there's some value in that. I mean, I have my kids read 20 minutes a day. So why can't I, the adult, also read 20 minutes a day? It also helps that Matt is also reading paper books of his choice. Right now, he's doing something completely different than what I'm doing, but part of what he's doing comes with reading 10 pages of a nonfiction book as well. So that is the one that I'm doing right now. I'm really excited about it. I think it would be something that is an easy habit that I can continue. I think that I can easily finish reading the books that I've already bought and then actually like take some time to look for new books that either pique my interest or are on some sort of topic that I really want to learn about and motivate me to really embody that continual learning that I think that we all should have, right? That we should be teachable and that we should all be wanting to learn more, because there's just no way for us to really like have a full like understanding of any topic. And so I think this is a really good way to motivate me to staying with the habit of reading, because it's good for me to read and it's good for my brain, but it's also just really good to get more information on topics that I'm interested in or that are on my like to-do list, but like way down on the to-do list. So the first book that I'm reading is called, I don't know how to pronounce one of the words, but maybe someone can help me out. It's Holy Hygie. Hello. Hi, Kristen. It's so nice to see you over here on YouTube. It's so funny because I hadn't seen that anyone like commenting in the chat I could see on here, but now I can, so that's cool. So it's Hygie, it's Hyggge. I'll link it in the description afterwards, but it's basically a Christian take on like a Danish concept of hospitality. And so far I'm really liking it. I'm 75 pages in. Hello, Jen. Nice to see you here. I love that I can see everyone's comments here. I know the viewership and audience is not quite as large as maybe my Instagram is. Like when I do an Instagram live, I'll have a couple hundred people. So I think it's very sweet that I can see people commenting and checking in here in the chat box. Hello. So the Holy Hygie, I don't know how to say it. I'm gonna have to Google it because that's how I'm saying it in my brain when I'm reading, but it's probably really wrong because I'm definitely not Danish. I don't know Dutch, so I don't really know. But I'm really loving it so far, and it has to do with hospitality and like opening our doors as Christians and inviting people in to dinners and lunches and stuff and getting to know people more on a deeper level, and how there's something really special about communing with others over a meal and how it deepens a relationship. All of a sudden it's very windy, so I apologize if that gust of wind is loud. But I really think that it's a concept that I struggle with. I love the idea of having people over, but I also get very overwhelmed with hosting things. So like my family really knows me well. I get very overwhelmed. I don't do well with the expectations that I have in my head of what hosting other people looks like. And so that's something that I have been like praying over, and that reading this book has actually started to have the like unrealistic expectations of hosting people broken down, and how it's not about having all the things correct on how to host people over for a dinner or something, but that it has to do with like wanting to connect, and that root aspect of it, of being like that's what Christians are there for, is we're to love one another, and one of the ways to do that is over the table and over a meal. So I'm really loving that one right now. I should have brought the book over here and showed it here, but I will post it again on Instagram, and I'll put it in the description after this is over. But it's a really good book. And here's the thing with this 30 days to habit. You don't have to do what I'm doing. You can really do whatever you want. And the reason why I say that is because you are not me and I am not you. And like I tell Emberly, like when she's afraid to tell like her dance teacher that she has an injury or something, we tell her like, that person is not dancing in your body or walking in your body for the rest of your life, their life, your life. Like they are not going to be in your shoes forever. So like if you know your body is injured, you really have to like do what you need to do to take care of yourself in that instance. And so that is the same here with this habit. This habit building stuff, it's really not about like what I'm doing. So I'm just documenting kind of like an online vlogging journey of like, hey, this is what I'm doing as habit building right now. And you take what works for you and leave the rest. You don't have to do what I'm doing. But I hope this is motivating to you guys to be like, okay, like you can do a habit building for anything. I know that there was someone on Instagram that said that they were working 30 days for flossing their teeth. And I don't know about you, but that is definitely not a habit that like many people that I know even do that. I know that because like Matt has like gone in and out of like being like, I need to like get better at this. And so there's an important thing to this because I think that the world right now, we live in this like lack of discipline state. And I'm not saying like that doesn't apply to me. I think it really does apply to me, and being tasked as a mother with a lot of children, I think that takes a lot of discipline. And that's a truck, so if it's loud, I apologize. But I think that like motherhood really takes a lot of discipline, and maybe that is one of the reasons why like culture has really not liked motherhood or the idea of motherhood, because it does come with a lot of discipline. You have to be really disciplined to get yourself ready and taken care of every day, plus like other small humans. And I think that also correlates why a lot of people dislike homeschooling, or even why like some people are afraid of homeschooling. Can you hear me now? How about now? Again, I'm totally learning with the YouTube lives because Instagram lives are a lot more user friendly. Okay, so I'm like, ta-da, ta-da. How about that? Okay, I'll stand closer. So yes, so like motherhood really takes a lot of discipline. I think that's why even a lot of mothers feel like they can't homeschool, because it takes discipline. So because discipline is something that like is not maybe like taught often anymore. We sit here in motherhood and we're like, well, I'm not disciplined enough to like get dressed every day, so how could I be disciplined enough to homeschool my kids or something? And while I completely agree with that, I don't think we should write off working on discipline and being self-disciplined. And so that's where like me at where I'm at right now in motherhood with 7 kids, and I'm in my 3rd year of homeschooling, I've realized that it's not a lack of I can't do something. It's more of a lack of like I'm not disciplined to do something. So if I want to do something, I really have to set out and start working and building the habit of discipline in order to achieve something. And just like my daughter's ballet instructor tells her, like, so when you're doing a pirouette, there's like 30 things that have to go right to do a perfect pirouette. Okay, a pirouette is where you spin in a circle, right, on one leg. So her ballet teacher tells her there's like 30 things that you're supposed to be able to do it perfect. It is impossible for you to sit there and do a pirouette and focus on all 30 things perfectly in that split moment. So instead, you work at one thing at a time until it becomes like, what is it called? Muscle memory, right? And then once you've mastered that, then you move on to the next thing in a pirouette that will help perfect it. And once you've mastered that with muscle memory and it's become second nature, then you move to the next thing. And you're basically building on that muscle memory in order to get to as good of a pirouette as you can possibly get. And that is what I think like motherhood is like and life is like as a mom, right? And a wife, is that we have to be building these habits. And to do that, we have to start somewhere. And so for me, my big turning point was I needed to start my discipline with how I started my day. And so I started my day by getting dressed. 30 days of getting dressed, it became a habit. It helped me set my mindset that I can get stuff done, that I am not overwhelmed by the world so much that I can't even get out of bed and get dressed. So once I mastered that, like going into making my bed, okay, I can get myself ready for the day. I can get my kids ready for the day. Let's like get the state of my house ready for the day. And so like making our bed is a habit. And I'm trying to instill those like habits and discipline of like how we clean up our house in the morning. After all my kids get dressed, we clean the entire house from the bedrooms all the way to the living room, and then everyone exits out to the backyard to play. And I'm trying to build in that habit of like, hey, we start our day off with discipline. So let's get disciplined in how we get dressed. Let's get disciplined by brushing our teeth. Let's get disciplined by doing that. And then as it becomes like a habit, we're able to build on that. And that's also something in my season with a newborn right now, is I'm having to be like, okay, I kind of have to get back to the basics of my habits. I can get us dressed, I can get our house cleaned. Now it's like, okay, where's our rhythm with school? And that's kind of where I'm at right now. And then after that, it's going to be some other new habit that I'm gonna have to do. All that to say, that is why I do the 30 days to habit that I've kind of made up myself, because I lack the discipline, but I know I'm not incapable of being disciplined. I just need to put a little elbow grease in there and a little muscle to it and get it done. So that is my spiel of 30 days to habit. I really apologize for the sound. I apologize for all the interruptions of wind and cars. And I have a child staring at me out our window here. There she is, Ava. So thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and save this. I may have to redo this video and edit it. Maybe I can try to save it and edit it so I can cut out some of these poor quality moments. Thank you for joining me. If you don't follow me on Instagram, I'll leave the link in the description for that as well. You can just look up Growing Goodings and you'll find me. And stay tuned for Monday's Chat with Matt. And I told him that he needs to pick a topic. So I'll let you know on Instagram what our Monday Chat with Matt will be. But until then, I'll see you guys later. Bye.